Over the last few weeks, my calls have decreased dramatically, and over the last week, the temperatures also dropped dramatically. So I got started thinking about what to do in the wintertime, and I came up with 7 ideas of ways to make money during the off season or the winter. So if your business is seasonal like mine, then this will be good to know. However, I will throw out that because I do still work another job, I won't be implementing any of these ideas this year, but maybe I will in the future. But it's good to at least get my toes wet and to know what options are available. So let's look at the list. Number 1 is hanging Christmas lights. Now, there are big companies that hang Christmas lights, but all you really need is a few ladders, probably just one actually, and then just go around, find some customers, and hang their Christmas lights for them. Now, it is important to know that if you add a new skill to your business, you also have to market that skill. You have to find those customers. So, with Christmas lights, for example, there's a few reasons I like this one. 1, because you have to put the Christmas lights up, and then 2, because you have to take the Christmas lights down. And so, it's kind of a double service. I would definitely recommend having insurance with something like this because it is a more risky job. And so, it is important that you have insurance, and also because, the homeowners won't want to hire you if you don't, just because of that risk level involved. So, that's the first one is putting on Christmas lights. So if you were able to just throw an ad out and get a few customers this year, and then just kind of slowly start to build that clientele, and then that can kind of get you through the winter. Now these ideas aren't meant to supplement your income. It's just supposed to get you through the winter, and it's just ideas of things. So they're not going to work for everyone, and maybe some of these even apply to the business you already have. But let's go on to the next one, which is blowing out sprinklers. Now, if you're a landscaper, you're probably already doing this, so you probably won't appreciate me telling other people to do it. However, I'm gonna back out a little bit. So, with blowing out sprinklers, normally, if you've never done it, this is how it goes. You normally have to go and get the big air compressor, the tow behind one, and you have to go around and you hook it up to the main. You open up each of the sprinklers and you blow out all the water before the winter comes and it freezes the pipes, and that can cause a lot of damage. So that's why people do it. So that is tricky because if you don't own one of those giant tow behind compressors, they're very difficult to rent it during this time because everybody goes out and gets them at the same time. So the idea here is to make a few bucks. You schedule out, say, a week of your air compressor. You get a list of a bunch of people, and for just residential, you don't want to even go near commercial. So leave the landscapers to do that. But for the residential people, just go and charge them. You can find out in your area. For me, I would think probably $50 to $100, probably $80 or something there. Someone would pay to have someone come and do it. And I've done this a few times on commercial properties, like HOAs and condos, that kind of stuff. And so my guess would be each house would be slightly different. So you're going to have to do your homework to find out how to do it best, and to find out, how each house and system is going to be different, and you need to do your homework so you're able to do it well. So if you do that, you can make a quick buck that way. But you got to remember to rent the compressor ahead of time and then just fill up your schedule, and that's another idea you could do. Moving on, we have snow removal. Now, I know what you're thinking. Snow removal, I have done my share of that, and it sucks. Now, if you're a landscaper, again, you're thinking, please, come on, how can someone just start doing snow removal? That's our job. But again, going back to the Christmas lights and the sprinkler blowouts, you gotta not do the commercials, so you gotta find just a few residents. So if you could find, 5 or 6 homeowners who want to pay you to, all you need is a truck and a shovel and some ice melt, not even a truck necessarily, and you just go to their house, clean their driveway, and upsell them on the ice melt, and move on to the next house. If you could do, 5 or 6 houses each day that it snows, you can make some decent money. Now, obviously, it doesn't snow every day, at least not where I live, this also depends where you live. If you're in California or Texas or something, probably won't apply to you. But if you find a few homeowners who care about that and who are willing to spend some money, you can make a decent amount of money each time it snows. Now, obviously, you can't have too many people because you're supposed to go and do it as soon as it snows, and so you have to get there. You have to have few enough people that you can get there quick enough. Okay, so That's that idea. I did that. Well, I did commercial snow removal a few years ago, and it was a horrible experience. So leave that for the big boys, the landscapers who have equipment and manpower. But if you're just a single man operation, you can get away with just doing residential ones. There are a few apps, I believe, where you can just kind of put yourself out there and people can hire you. I don't remember what they're called, but I remember seeing a few of them last year. And so that's another option you can do, is just residential snow removal. And like I said, just try to upsell them on the ice melt. And you'd be surprised, people are willing to pay 100, 120 bucks to clear out their driveway, something you can do in 30 minutes to an hour. So that's another idea. Moving on, we have gutter cleaning. So a lot of people like to clean their rain gutters, that is, before winter hits. So if they've got leaves from the trees that clog up their gutters and it snows, you don't want to back up your gutters and it cause any roof damage or any flooding anywhere. So what you got to do is basically climb up on the roof and clean out the gutters. And some people now I'm not sure what that would pay exactly, but I would imagine it's something like everything else that happens once a year, and people are willing to pay for that because it saves them money and it does help them out. And so all you need for that one, again, is basically a ladder, and you're good to go. You probably want insurance for that one too. And so that one's pretty simple. Moving on, we have RV and boat winterizing. Now, I will admit that I have no idea what that means, but I do know that it needs to happen. And so when people who have their RVs, they bring them back for the winter, they clean them out, they probably flush stuff, and I don't really know what it all entails. I just know it needs to happen. So if you do your homework, you can find out how to do that for people. People who have boats or RVs are probably willing to pay someone to do that. Well, there's probably two different kinds of people. Someone who'll just hire someone else to do it, a professional, or someone who wants to take care of their own investments. So you definitely have to be prepared and know your stuff. So that's that one. The last one is pressure washing. So a lot of people, and this isn't necessarily, this could be done all year round, but it is another side thing you could do. Pressure washing driveways or houses. A lot of people are interested in that. And so that one's pretty straightforward. You just got to get a pressure washer. You just got to clean it up, all the dirt off the ground or whatever, and make it look nicer. And as an honorable mention, I put aerating. Now, you don't do this in the winter. I know that's why it's not included in the list. It's just an honorable mention. Because back when I was doing landscaping, and even when I was just in high school, I would go and rent an aerator, and I'd go to all my neighbors who knew me, at least when I was growing up, and I'd charge them $50, and I'd aerate their yard for them, and then I'd move on to the next house. So ideally, I'd get, 10 to 12 people per day. So that's $500 in a day. And if you do that 1 year, that gives you the money to buy an aerator for the next year. And then you just keep on building your clientele, maybe take a week or two and just do that nonstop. You're going to make some good cash. Obviously not a full-time thing, but it is a nice little bonus. And so keep that in mind. Now, all of these ideas you want to build your clientele, because these things are all things that happen in the winter. They're all needs people have, or at least the people who have them they're reoccurring, is the point I'm getting at. And so what you want to do is have, don't make it a one-time thing. You want to get these repeat customers and build year after year after year, and so you can do that. And it is also important to remember that, no, this isn't supposed to supplement your income all the way, but they are other ideas. And so if you do want to go after any of these ideas, it is important that you understand what you're doing, understand the risks, and be insured, for example. And that might talk you out of doing it. Again, insurance, you might think that's just expensive or whatever. But more people will hire you if you're insured, and it's a little... With some of these ideas, I feel like people, like snow removal, for example, I know some people, landscapers, will get upset and say, well, you're just undercutting us because we have these expenses we have to pay, and you're just that cheap guy. And, that is kind of true, but like I said, that's why you have to just do the residential customers, because as far as I know, landscapers it's not really worth their time. It wasn't for me, at least, when I did it. So look at these ideas, do your homework, research, find out how to do the jobs, and then, it takes planning. So this is a video I've made, going into the fall of this year. Feel free to take any of these ideas. If you have any other ideas that I haven't brought up or thought of, please leave a comment below so anyone else can see it. And as always, thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe and you'll get to see everything else I come out with. Thanks.